Let me fix that. Is that better?
Probably. It was just it was just kind of showing up here and there. All right. Yeah, I'm just looking up this because I really don't remember. I mean, I've done this, but Skeech. Okay. All right. Do you remember anything about pairwise comparisons?
Not really.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you start by listing how many pairwise comparisons we need to make. All right. A versus B, A versus C, A versus D. Okay. So it's like we want to do this. B, P, 16 people. Maybe this isn't a good one to start with. All right, let me just give me a few minutes here. I got to get grounded in this because I just don't have a good starting point for any of this. Maybe the worksheets where you kind of get walked through it could be better.
Okay.
First place votes are needed for majority.
Less.
X wins the comparison. X gets 1 vote. Y gets 0. Both get a half. Okay. There's 6 pairwise comparisons which are made. Okay, so B6, B versus D. Okay. A versus B. So let me see here. I'm almost there. Just I got to look at one of these examples just a little bit more.
Okay.
So let's see here. 14 voters prefer A. B is okay. All right. So let's go. Let's look at letter B here. And B is, you can see right here, there's 6 plus 5. Sorry, I've circled that. Plus 4 plus 1. So B is, well, that's not right. Okay, well, maybe it is. So that is 16. Okay, and then let me look for a letter that's not in all of them. Is all the letters don't? Well, that's not going to work. This isn't right. 14, 10, 1. All right, sorry, let me, this is not going A to B, 14 voters for A. And then 23 voters prefer B. Okay, B is the highest in that list. Okay, all right, let me take that back. All right, I think now I've got it. All right, so let me just start fresh here. All right, so let's look at B. B is the highest in this first column, so it gets 6. Okay, and let's say we're comparing it to, for example, D. Okay, so in the second column, do you see how D is higher than B?
Yes.
So that would be 5 for D. In the third column, I'm sorry, the fourth column, this one down here, you're comparing B and D. D is above B, so D gets the 4. Okay, but in the last column, B is above D, so it gets 1. Okay, so this is 7 and this is 9. Is it? And we'll do this a bunch of times here, but is it clear how we get those
Yeah.
numbers? Okay, so when you compare B versus D, okay, D wins. All right, now so let's compare another one. Let's compare B and I'll just go to P, for example. So B versus P. You look at the and you actually have to restart here. I mean, I'll do that. So you really have to restart. You look at the first. So we're going to do a B versus P comparison. Okay, so you go to that first column. B is above P, so that's 6. Then you look at the second column. Where's B and P? B is above P, so that's +5. Third column, P is above B, so that's 4 for P. And then the last one here, B above P is 1. So in this case, B wins. Okay, so that's how you actually do the pairwise comparison, but you have to do it for all the possibilities. Okay, so we actually have to figure out how many comparisons are there. So it looks like this is where that's what part A is. The rest of this is kind of leading into it's kind of stuck in there. So we got to count the number of letters. So it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. B, P, L, S, M, and D, like that. So there are 6 times 5 comparisons. And the reason it is that number is because 6 is the total. So you choose one, and then there's one less that could go here. Okay.
Okay.
So there's 30 comparisons to make. Right? That's a lot. But you know, this can be this. I think that's why it was written that way, because there's so many to make in this problem. So let me see what the rest of that page says. Realizing that as there's not enough time to obtain passports and visas, Paris and London must be eliminated as choices. Now determine the winner again using the method of pairwise comparisons. Okay, so they're saying don't look at, this is part B. Grab part B here. All right, so now they're saying there's not enough time to paint passports for Paris. So we're assuming P and L are for Paris and London. All right, which leaves us letters B, S, M, and D. Okay, so we need to compare B and S, B and M, B and P. Okay, and then S with M, S with P, and then M with P. So actually, I take back what I said earlier. That's what I said here isn't quite right. You guys did combinations in class, didn't you?
Mhm.
Does that sound right? Like 6 choose 2?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's why we're off here, because that's why this is so many. So 6 choose 2, that's 6 factorial. Are you allowed to use a calculator?
I believe so.
Okay, let's do this on the calculator then. Do you have yours out?
Yes.
Okay, so it should be under math NCR. I'll get mine out as well. All right, so I've got it up here. So you have to actually put that first number in 6, math, PRB, and so NCR. Do you see that there? Number 3, math, PRB, NCR, and then 2, and that should give you 15 comparisons. The reason it's not 30 is because you end up doubling up, like B versus P is the same as P versus B. And that's why it's half. So in this second one, part B, when you only have 4 options, it's now 4 choose 2, or 4 go to math, PRB, NCR 2, and that should be 6. And you can see that's how we got the 6 on the other screen there.
Okay.
So let me snip that in. Okay. Now we can actually do it. So let's go back to, because it's like a little overwhelming to do, all those comparisons, but we can now do it. So we first need to compare B, and S.
Okay.
All right. So let's do that here. When you look in column 1, which is higher, B or S?
B.
Okay, so that gets 6. And then when you look in the second column, which is higher, B or S?
B.
So that's 5. I'm using the number on the top there. Third column, looks like B is higher again.
Mhm.
Third column, fourth column, B is higher again. So B wins B versus S. Okay.
Okay.
Now the frustrating thing here is like all that is irrelevant. Now you go B versus M. All right, so it's the same thing here. Do you want to try this one?
Sure. Is it the same thing where B is
Yes.
higher than all of them?
Well, yeah, I was hoping. Yes, it is. So, if it's higher in all of them, then it does win. You're really supposed to count them out. But if it's higher in all of them, then it doesn't matter. All right, now we're going to do B versus P. So we might have already done that, but B is higher. In the second one, B is higher. The third one, P is higher, so that's 4. In the fourth one, B is higher, so B wins.
Okay.
Okay. Now we should keep going. Like we should keep doing and do all of them. But like in the grand scheme of this, you get points for winning.
Mhm.
So B has 3 points for 3 wins. It's impossible for any of them to have to get up there, but you're really supposed to do them all.
Okay.
So what do you think about that? I mean, is that reproducible now for you?
Yeah.
Like, okay. Like I just be fair, like to you, like I don't remember the stuff until I've seen like an example again. This is not like common knowledge.
Mhm.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to move on to the plurality method.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah.
All right. Do you get notes on this for your test quiz coming up?
Yes, we do.
Oh, good. All right. Thankfully, we've got the internet and there is plenty of examples of this out there.
Yeah.
I'm looking for an example here to help guide me.
Mhm.
All right. There's actually another lesson on my YouTube channel. I'll send you a link to it. She had almost the exact same test, so it might be worth looking at.
Okay.
You'll notice a similar amount of sort of scrambling by me to figure it out. Plurality with elimination, we're not doing that. We're just doing plurality. The plurality candidate with the most. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. This is good. Here is the explanation here. The candidate with the most first place votes wins. So in this case, it looks like, and you're just, to me, that means you're just looking at row one. You're just looking at row one, since the first choice is M and it's got 10 votes. That's it.
Okay.
I think that's maybe the easiest to remember.
Okay.
Does that look similar to what maybe you saw in class?
Yeah.
So it looks like your teacher is emphasizing this like fairness criteria.
Mhm.
But let's get into that here a little bit. It says, is one alternative preferred over every other alternative in head-to-head comparisons? And it's like you're supposed to use the pairwise comparison here for this.
Mhm.
So let's do that here. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 options. So you're
Mhm.
comparing M and S, M and D, M and B, S and D, S and B, D and B. All right, so let's look M versus S. Let's look at the first one here. So M is higher. So in the first one here, sometimes you got to just do it real small. 10 for M, but then in the second column, S is higher. That's 8. And in the third column, S is higher, so that's 6. So notice S would actually win that comparison there.
Okay.
M versus D, M gets 10 in the first one, so we'll put a 10 there. In the second one, D is higher than M, so it would get 8. And then the third one, M is higher, so it would be 10 and 6. So that's M winning that one. So how about M versus B? So again, M wins the first one, that's 10. In the second one, B wins because it's higher, that's 8. In the third one, B wins because it's higher, that's +6, so B wins that one.
Mhm.
So far, if we're keeping a tally of M, S, B, and D, S is 1-1, M is 1-1, and B is 1-1, which tells you something. It tells you like, wow, like these aren't really, they're not. It's not as decisive for M as we maybe thought.
Mhm.
So S versus D now. S wins the first one. In the second one, S is above D again, so that's 8. And the third one, S is also above D, so that's the clear winner there. So now S actually has two wins. S versus B. Okay, so again, first one here, S has got 10. The middle one, B has 8. And the last one, though, S is above B, so it has 6. So S wins. So S actually has 3. And then D versus B. Okay, D is above B, so that's 10. B wins the middle one, that's 8. B wins so B wins that. So actually, if you go by like pairwise, S is preferred versus, and then B and then M.
Mhm.
And that's where the question is going in this fairness criteria, part C.
Mhm.
Let me snip that in here. What the teacher's trying to get you to see, and it's typically the case when they ask you one of these, is like basically, since the answers to A and B are different, like that means that like if they both gave you the same result, then they would be considered fair. But since they give you different results, it's considered not fair. And like, so in this scenario here, it like part A is like, well, just pick the one that's got the most first place votes. But in part B, we start comparing them head to head and we realize like, oh, like more people actually want to go skiing. I think skiing was S. Skiing, yeah.
Mhm.
And actually less of them wanted to go just to the mountains.
Mhm.
I don't know, give me some feedback. Is that
No, it makes
it makes
sense.
sense? I sometimes I'm like
Yeah.
not sure because I'm like, even I'm not convinced about some of this sometimes. So that like what was nice here is we did the pairwise comparison again. The plurality method, this is the most simple way to explain it. The candidate with the most first place votes wins the election. So now let's go to borda count. The borda count method. This one I
Okay.
think has got a little bit more math involved, meaning it's got a few more, I think, multiplications. Let me. All right, so here we go. Snip this in. Okay, the borda count method point system. Each place on a preference ballot is assigned points. Last place receives 1 point. Next to last place receives 2 points, and so on. Okay, so last place, that's the fourth choice, that gets 1 point. Okay, third place gets 2 points. Second place gets 3 points. First place gets 4 points.
Okay.
Okay. Thus, if there are n candidates, then first place receive n points. So in this case, there's 4 candidates. Now multiply the point value for each place by the number of voters at the top of the column to find the points each candidate wins in a column. Lastly, total up all the points for each candidate. Okay. So you basically need another thing off to the side here. And you take 4 times 10 for this one here, so that's 40. And then 3 times 10 m, that's 30. That's one way to do it, is to build out this table. Okay, that's option 1. Option 2 is to just do it for each one. Like for B is you just find all the B's and you say, okay, B is 10 times 4 plus the next B is down here, 1 times 5 plus B down here, 1 times 4.
Okay.
mean, they're essentially the same, but like maybe there's a preference. I don't know. What do you seem to like here?
Probably the second option.
All right, so that gives us 45, 49. And then we do the same thing for M. And I'm just choosing the order based on the first column. I'm not, there's no other thing going on there. So M, we've got 3 times 10 plus 3 times 5 plus 2 times 4. So 30 plus 15, 45 plus 8, that's 53. S, do you want to try calculating S for us, please?
Yes. How do you know, like, what number it like goes with?
So it's like finding the intersection. So S is right here. So it's the intersection of 2 and 10.
Okay.
And then the next S would be the intersection of 4 and 5.
Okay. $52.
So 2 times 10 plus 4 times 5 plus 3 times 4. Yes. So do the last one D for us, please.
$36.
So that's 1 times 10 plus 2 times 5 plus 4 times 4. So we got a really strong third. All right. So you just look for the biggest total. So the 53. So M wins.
Okay.
What's next? So I know that we did these out of order. Now I can sort of see what's happening here for like why the questions were in this order. And so part B here, letter B, says, does one alternative have a majority of first place votes? So notice that we've already answered that. B has the most first place votes. Okay, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the winner. If it was based on the plurality method is the candidate with the most first place votes wins the election, then B would have won. But when you use the borda count method, well, M wins. And then maybe I have this fairness criteria backwards. I really don't know. Let me double check that on the web. Because maybe I wrote something earlier about that. That may not be true. So let me just double check. Okay, so there is fairness criteria. Did you see these in class? Majority criterion, which is majority first place votes, Condorcet, head to head. Any of that look familiar?
Yes.
Okay. So the fairness criteria is that they should, let me see if I can find a better. So I think this next piece of information I found is probably the best, probably what your teacher wants you to write down. So I'll just read this together here. Now that we have reviewed 4 different voting methods, how do you decide which method to use? That's exactly what we're probably thinking right now. One question is to ask which method is the fairest. And this is the part that I wanted you to read or see. Unfortunately, there is no completely fair method. And I read that I take that to mean there's no way to get the same outcome from all different voting systems. And that's what this says. No voting system can satisfy all 4 fairness criteria in all cases. And I think that, I believe that that goes to the point that you might get a different outcome based on the voting system that you use,
Mhm.
which we've seen now in all 3 examples that we've done.
Yes.
Okay, let's see what else you've got to look at tonight. So I'm just looking at what's on the whiteboard here. So we've talked about plurality for sure. We've kind of addressed fairness, kind of. So that's good. We've done the borda count method, and we've done the borda count method, and we've done the pairwise comparison method. We have not done plurality with elimination. Let's see if there's plurality method, exercise 1. Okay, I guess we should do plurality with elimination.
Okay.
So there's a discrete math lesson 1.4 plurality with elimination right here.
Something I don't know.
Let me do a quick search on this. I think I've got it already. Okay, so let's read this. I think this is really helpful. This is very concise. The plurality with elimination method. Eliminate the candidate with the least amount of first place votes and redistribute their votes among the other candidates. Okay, repeat this process until you find a winner. Okay, and it says note at any time during this process, if candidate has a majority of first place votes, then the candidate is a winner. Okay, so the first thing up here is you do need the total number of votes. The total number of votes is 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 2, which is 17. Okay, so a majority just means one more than the middle. So the majority here is 9.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Could you explain that again, please?
Yeah, I don't really like this, but let's use a different numerical example. Let's say there were 3 people, or three votes. Sorry, let's do 3 votes. Here are the possible outcomes: 0, 3, 1, 2, 2, 1, 3, 0. let's look at it from the perspective of Julia versus M. In
Mhm.
which examples here do you have the majority of votes?
In two of them.
In the 2 versus 1 and 3 versus 0.
Mhm.
Now let's say there were 4 votes. So 0, 4, 1, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 4, 0. In which cases do you have the majority?
In the last two.
Okay. So notice we can't tie, and you have to have more than me or whoever else you're competing against. So when it's odd, in the odd example, it's like cutting this number in half, which would be 1.5, but you got to go up from there.
Mhm.
If you cut 4 in half, 2, you have to go up from that to get to 3.
Okay.
So majority, it literally means like one, at a minimum, it's one more than the other. So like 2 versus 1, you've got one more than me. That's enough. That's a majority.
Okay.
That's the typical voting system in this country. So here there's 17 votes. So you just need one more than the middle number.
Okay.
So it would be, if you take 17 divided by 2, that's 8.5, but you got to round it up.
Okay.
So when you look at like A, does A have 4 votes? Or I'm sorry, does A have a majority? The answer is no, it has 4 votes.
Mhm.
Does B have a majority?
No.
It's got 5. And actually, I take that back. A got both 4 and 2, so it's got 6.
Mhm.
C got 6, and B got 5.
Okay.
So if we read this first part, it says eliminate the candidate with the least amount of first place votes and redistribute their votes among the other candidates. So again, if we just look at first place votes, A got 4 plus 2, B has 5, and C has 6. So who is the least among them?
B.
B. So if we split those votes, okay, between A and C, what does
Mhm.
that give you? So like we're gonna take half, 2.5 and 2.5, give some to C, give some to A.
8.5.
Yeah. So that's not good. Okay. So what does that mean? And that's where I'm gonna look next because I don't know. I believe that's the runoff part here. So I want to say we go to the second choice, but not sure. Do you have any other notes from class on this one?
Um.
All right, so we eliminate, it says since we eliminate B, we eliminate it from all the places that B appears.
Okay.
And what does that do? That moves everything up. So they actually do kind of a, bring that up, bring that up. Okay, that will change everything though. Sorry, I'm trying to learn this as we go. Apologize. So based on this, you do not split those votes. I guess I misunderstood. Because B, you eliminate B because it's this, and then you push everything up. So that it, like in the, if we were to rewrite this, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. A DC, and then CAD, CAD, ACD. And then I guess you do the same thing here. You would choose between A and C for your votes.
Okay.
So this is 4, 5, 6, and 2. So you do the same thing now. You say, okay, A is 4 plus 2, C is 5 plus 6, 11 and 6. 11 is a majority.
Okay.
So where I got sidetracked is it's not that you split these, it's apparently that you eliminate. With elimination means you remove the one that's the lowest in the first, and then you push everything up.
Mhm.
Nothing to do there. Do you want me to give you another example of that?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we first look at first place votes. So there's M, C, and S. I want you to calculate the votes that M gets, C gets, and S gets, please. You're just looking at the first row.
Okay. M is 4, C is 5, S is 9.
Okay, M is 4, C is 5, and S is 9. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And then I really should have had you do the total. 3 plus 1 plus 4 plus 1 plus 9. That is 18. So a majority, what would a majority be for 18?
10 votes.
Yes, 9.5 goes up to, or 9, you got to round up to 10. So S is not a majority. Which is the lowest in this group?
Letter M.
So you eliminate M. Gone, 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 and gone.
Okay.
And everything pushes up. Okay, so let me snip in the result of that so you can see what that looks like. Notice how, since M is gone, C and S push up. And it's the same number at the top. And the second one, sorry for all the scrolling. Stop scrolling. Okay, see how M is eliminated, so S and C push up,
Mhm.
and so on, the S pushes up. It would be good to redraw it, but then you do the same thing. You do the comparison between C and S, or however many letters you have, and you're just looking at the first place votes. What would that be?
C is 8 and S is 10.
Okay, do you have a majority?
Yes, S.
Yes. All right, I think. So yeah, so S would be your winner. S would be your winner. All right, I am trying to find that other student video that could be helpful.
Okay.
Okay, that's not it. February 10th, May 9th. Could that possibly be it? There it is. Okay, I did find it. Let me drop this in the chat here. So I did this lesson with this student. It's on almost exactly what you did.
Mhm.
If you have time or you just want to scan through it, I can even try to find the notes for it. But it covered, I think, a bunch of these that might be worth looking at.
Okay,
So
yeah.
unfortunately, I am just totally booked tonight. I don't know that I can do anything else to help you for